Hi, Harvey Hooke here. Over the Christmas and New Year period of 16 to 17, so 2016 to 2017, I have had the utmost honor of interacting and coaching more women than I've ever actually coached before in such a short amount of time. I don't know what it was, maybe it was the whole new season, but so many people have gotten in contact with me, and that, to me, I am so thankful for. So thank you for being a part of this journey with me. But I really want to tell you now two big things that a lot of people have been actually missing out when it comes to dating and relationships, because I find when a lot of people, so this isn't just to do with women, but women, I'm going to be speaking to you right now, and if a lot of guys you're watching this is also something that you can do as well. But there are two things that often people are actually messing up. One of them is fast, one of them is slow. And to introduce these two little elements to you, one of them is called the big P and the other is called the big D. But we're gonna push the D for another side, because I'm actually gonna be splitting this video up into two parts, because I really think there's a lot to be broken down and just talk to you about as well. So what I'm gonna be doing is, right in this video, I'm gonna be talking about the big P, and then the next video is the big D. But this big two things, if you understand them at a core level, if you actually incorporate them into your life, and this will also affect the way you look at other things, the way you look at business, it's the way you look at dating and relationships is often the way you look at life. You'll find that it kind of cross-contaminates everything. So this is actually really exciting. So I really hope you understand this, and if you don't get it, watch this video a couple times, because it's actually incredibly powerful. And I've done enough build up here, but I really want you to know that the first one and the second one, so the big P and the big D, that these two things, that if you don't incorporate it into your life, you potentially can make the same mistakes over and over again. Because what's insanity, the definition of insanity? It is doing the same thing and expecting different results. So these are the things that you can do that will drastically change the way your dating goes, drastically change the way your life goes, and drastically change the way your love goes. But it is important to know that this also is incredibly important if you want a relationship, because these are the elements. This is not about a quick fix, right? This is not about just getting a guy into bed and just really having that substantial feeling or learning how to have flings, because if you're watching this video, then you're probably someone who wants something more substantial in your life. That this really isn't about quantity, this is about quality. So these two elements are about creating quality relationships in your life, so relationships in general, and when applied to one special someone, you create a quality relationship in your life. So let's get into it. So without more making you wait for things, the big P is not pencil, it is not penicillin, it is not Penelope, it is not a pentagram, but it is an actual fact: patience. Because when you have patience in a relationship, then you're giving it the water it needs to grow. Just like a plant needs water, this is the food and the nourishment that a relationship needs to grow. With this, there are three particular times where you need to have patience for. The first is at the beginning of a relationship, so before you've even found a guy. The second is when you've actually found a guy. And the third is later on in the relationship. And I'll be breaking these down a bit more. So the first is before you've actually found a guy. See, this is the thing, right? A lot of people, because they're at different stages in their life, they actually feel a sense of urgency. They think, oh, I'm at 30, I need to settle down now. Oh, I'm at 45, I need to settle down now. Oh, I want this in my life, maybe I need to hurry it up. That kind of mentality, actually a lot of guys will feel. And what they do is they feel that, and they feel that you have a higher agenda that will push them away. Now, I'm not saying don't have a higher agenda. What I'm saying is have patience. So realize that it actually takes a little bit of time to develop that kind of relationship. The thing is, you won't have any problems with things of how they are if you accept them for what they are. And relationships take time. And so if you have patience, you'll allow it to develop time. This is one way of looking at it as well, is that, you know what, the dating scene has time. If you go on Tinder, there are going to be a lot of guys who probably just want a lot of hookups, but even that, if you have patience, you can find a really quality guy on Tinder. I've coached people before, and I've actually met people before who, you know, they have eventually found a quality guy of such an app that just boasts hookups. So it is possible if you have patience. Next thing is when you find a guy. So where does patience evolve when you actually find a guy? that evolves at the start. So you might have an idea of the perfect kind of relationship that you want, and if you don't, it's important to have an idea, but just think of it as a stepladder. You have the relationship that you want, and you have it at the start. Because it is at the start, it is so small, just like the tree starts as a seed, it will need time to evolve, right? So when you actually meet a guy, you kind of want the first date to be really light, really casual, maybe just drinks, nothing really heavy, not really this crazy dinner of like, so will you marry me? But what you really want in that case then is to just let the relationship potentially develop. Because here's the thing, when you're dating someone, you're actually starting something new. It's kind of like if you were to create a clay sculpture. If you're creating a clay sculpture by yourself, you get to mold it in a way that you want to mold it, right? But if you're doing it with someone else, you have an extra set, like you've got an extra set of hands, you can potentially develop it into something that you want, or you can create something that's even better because of the sum of the parts, because you've got your mind going in it and you've got their mind. Unfortunately, just like with clay, at the start, it's gonna look like a pile of dirt. It might even be a bit awkward. It might even be a bit like sassy. It might not be what you want. What I say is have patience. Go on a second date. If you don't feel those sparks, it's just because there hasn't been enough time to kindle. How many times have you heard a story of a couple that have gotten together because they've been friends for such a long time? Sure, one of them might have just, been in love with the other one for such a long time, but then eventually the other person actually takes time to get to know that person. Different people have different firing temperatures and different buying temperatures where they take time to get to know someone, right? So with this, you have to actually have patience, because it can develop into something that you never even knew that would actually go that way. But two, at the start, if you don't feel the sparks, give it time, give it the energy, give it the breath it needs to have the sparks. So admittedly, you can work with something, with a guy who's probably a bit more ready, but even those guys need time. Even those guys need someone to actually just get to know them a bit more before they even feel the sparks. Look, and I know a lot of guys are gonna be watching this and actually gonna be feeling that, yeah, look, there was this girl I really liked, but there just wasn't enough time to get to know her because she didn't want to see me again. And that guy could have been a really cool guy that you could have gotten potentially to know. Even if it wasn't going to develop into something that you want, you could have actually potentially, made friends with him, and he could have potentially had some other guys that might have been interested in, patience. Now, the last thing is, and this is with the whole stepladder idea as well, so how I said, where you want to go and where you potentially started, the last thing you really want to understand with patience is the patience to develop something that you actually want. Different people take different times to grow, and different people take different amounts of energy and different amounts of understanding and different even languages as well. The important thing is, and I've often said this if you follow me a lot, the often thing that I've said is know what you want but expect the unexpected, because eventually what will happen is that you've got where you want to go, the guy has got where he wants to go, and eventually what will happen is you will eventually merge the two into one amazing relationship that's probably even better than what you actually imagined, or you're going to hit a snag, right? And what could happen at that snag is it might be a communication issue, it might be a wants, it might be a needs issue, all this kind of stuff. And if you keep developing it, if you keep moving it in that direction, so keep trying to go up the stepladder as slowly or as fast as you think it needs, without trying to rush it, but without trying to just make it become complacent, which we'll get more into that with the big D. But if you move in that direction and if it's hitting a snag and it's not going in you want, you have to have patience, because that way you can get to know the issue, you can get to understand the issue, and you can get to know the guy a bit more, because maybe he doesn't want to move forward with you because he's got some commitment issues, or maybe he doesn't want to move forward with you because he doesn't really know where his life is going. If you have the patience to work that out with him, you're going to connect with him at a level that no one else can connect with him. If you can do that, then he's never going to leave you, because you've given him something that no one else can. And it is worth noting that patience is one of the ultimate things, because really, and if you work with me as well, you'll know this, is that I'm not about just letting things go. I'm about finding out answers, right? I'm about doing everything that you can possibly do to give a relationship the life and give a relationship the depth that you want and that you deserve. Some people might go into a relationship and they might look at it and be like, hey, it's not going to develop into what I want, that's it, I'm out. What I'm going to say is give it the patience, because that way, even if you walk away, you know that you're walking away doing the best you can possibly do. And that way there's no gonna be what if in your head of what if I could have done this or I could have done that. You're gonna leave it knowing that you've done the best you can do, and then that way you can grow and you can learn from the experience and not have such heartache or have as much heartache. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. If you are excited about the next one, please make sure to subscribe and to make sure to keep watching, because in the next few days I'm going to be releasing the next video, which is the Big D. And if you did like this video, make sure to leave a like, because that really helps me figure out where you're at, and that also helps me figure out what you like, so I can keep making the stuff that you like, so that way we can start growing this together. And in the meantime, make sure to leave a comment, because I want to know about a situation where you've given a relationship so much patience and it hasn't developed into what you wanted, or you've given a relationship not enough patience and you've walked away thinking what could have happened next. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video, the Big D.